you've got your long one marked right side. That's going to go down the left side of the bike, across the back of the fender through the clips I was talking about, and then plug in to the back of the light over there. So you want to mount this with this installed in the fender. Before you attach the front bolts, go ahead and poke it through here. You can release this bolt right here on the side, pull this out a little bit, poke the wire through there, and come right back down into the wire harness. This will all tuck in behind your side cover. And like I said, if you have to, you can release this bolt, and this whole plate just pulls forward. This has all your wiring and stuff on it. Don't worry about it. You're not going to hurt anything. Just don't jerk it away from the bike. Just simply pull it away from the bike enough to get your Molex connectors through, and then you can connect it. To save some time on the install on the 2013 down, this is just a chrome plate. You got these 3 bolts back here. If you have the 4-point docking system, you're going to go ahead and pull those to get the 4-point docking system off to access the rear bolt. The front bolt is right here behind your saddlebag bracket. We're going to remove this. I'm going to set that off to the side, and here is the front mounting bracket. Now if we remove these, I had these pre-loosened, like I said, to save a little time on this install because it's pretty long install anyway. Take your 4-point docking system, remove it, set your 3 bolts back to the side, simply pull away and up and off. Right here and right here are your 2 fender bolts that hold this on. You can go ahead and break this front one loose. Gonna be tight. You can see the back one. Your mounting bracket for your saddlebag is going to be in the way. So what you want to do is break this one loose, this one down here loose. I'm going to break this top one loose. I'll pull that one out. And if you look right down here, this is attached to the back fender bracket. But if you just pull that down a little bit like that, you can access this bolt now. Get that one broke loose. Go to the other side and do the exact same thing on the other side to get it to right here, to where you have these bolts broke loose and ready to go. Now the next thing we want to do is going to be hard for me to get the camera in here, but once I get this all off, I'll flip the fender over and show you what I'm doing. Your tri-bar down here at the bottom, it's going to have a plate on the bottom. You're going to take both hands on the bottom, feel the clips, pull up and remove the plastic cover that goes over the back of the tri-bar. These are the 2 clips that you're going to push off. On the left side of the tri-bar light, you've got a clip at the top and a clip at the bottom. You're going to unplug it just like that. That's the clip at the top, that's the clip at the bottom. You're going to pull that off to the side. On the other side of the tri-bar light, you have the same clip that goes out and back up to your turn signals. That can all stay connected for right now. This is the wire harness. The side that we disconnected is the wire harness that runs up the left side of your bike and plugs in underneath the side cover. So this is the one that we need loose. Right above the tri-bar light is another nut. You want to reach up above the tri-bar light right in the center of the fender, find the nut. You're going to remove that nut completely. You're going to take a ratchet with a 7/16 and get up in there. It's a tight fit between the tire and that fender, but you can get to it. This nut holds a kind of wire clip that wire goes through. Once you get that nut off on each side of the saddlebag rail, on this side right here, you're going to have another one where your saddlebag rail attaches to your fender bracket. You're going to go ahead and pull that off. So once you take that nut off, you're going to do the same thing on the other side. That's going to release your saddlebag bracket from the fender bracket. Just like that, and you'll see that drop down. Come back here. If you have an antenna poking through here, go ahead and get your antenna removed. Now that you have everything disconnected from the fender, you can take out the rear 2 bolts that you already had broke loose. It's going to drop down just a little bit. Take out the front. That's going to release the fender from the frame. It's going to drop down, and then you can start pulling the fender back and off the bike. Now from here, we're going to take a 3/4 inch wrench and we're going to break these loose. We're going to remove these from the fender, set these washers off to the side, and use the provided washers to put back on the new fender. And once again, just to save a little bit of time, guys, we took the 4 bolts, 2 on each side, out of the stock fender, put it back into the new fender, use the thinner washers, take out the thicker one, use the thinner washers that come with the kit, and we also replaced the plate. You can see here on the bottom, this is for a solo seat. Just push it up through, put the little plastic clips on, put the nuts on. Once you get the fender built, and go to the back of the bike, and you can just kind of squeeze in on the fender, sneak this into place. That. Push this up, and basically we just want to get this set onto the tire. Don't worry about trying to get it up in its mounting position just yet. Once you have it set on the tire like that, you can go to the side, pick up the back of the fender, pick up the front, work your way up. If you have 2 people, this is a lot easier, but you can't do this by yourself. We're just going to have our 2 bolts ready, run them through our frame, get them back into our holes. Only doing the front 2 because I need to pivot the rear of this fender. On the back here, we took the bracket off. I have replaced that, but I've left it loose. Put the rear fender bracket on that goes from the saddlebag rails back on, but leave the bolts and nuts loose. This bolt right here that's already on the fender has a nut on the other side to hold it in place. We're going to reach up under here, move the fender bracket up until this bolt goes through the hole, and we'll use the provided washer and nut to put that on. Right now we want to leave everything loose. In the kit that you get with the fender, you'll get the washer and the nut. Just simply going to go up under here, push up on the bracket till the bolt falls through the hole in the bracket. We're going to go ahead and get that nut and washer started, but not tight. It's still loose. Now we can move back up to the top, and we can, with it loose, we can still lift up on the fender and get our rear 2 bolts started. Sometimes you got to wiggle this around to get them going. So you got your front end, your rear end. We'll move to the other side. Going to push up and in on the fender to get that hole lined up. And that's why it's important to leave everything loose right now, because we kind of have to wiggle and move this fender. It all connects together as one piece. So once we have all of those bolts in, we can come back and tighten these down. But remember, we had to remove this to get a good access to this bolt. So right now I just have everything just kind of loosely in here. This is loosely on, this is loosely on, this one down here is loosely on. We make sure we got the fender exactly where we want it. Just remember, if you're using the wire already installed in the fender and you need to come up through here to get to your side panel, or if you're doing the 14 up and you need to get above your seat, because we left this bolt loose, we can always take both sides of the front out now. Now that we have our back ones in, we can push down on the fender to the tire, and it creates a big gap in here. We can roll that wire up through there, make sure it's not pinched on anything, and put our bolts back in. So from here, just to save a little bit of time, guys, I'm going to go ahead and bolt down the fender, but I am going to speed the video up. Then I'll start tightening everything else up on the saddlebag rails and the rear fender bracket. Once we have everything plugged in and tightened up, we're going to move back to the back of the bike. We're going to remove these 4 screws right here. Go ahead and take our curved plate off. So just be aware that not every license plate is exactly the same. All these states have slightly different size license plates. I know here in Illinois that I have to trim off part of the top of this plate right here. It's very common. It's not a big deal. Any of these curved plates that you buy for these style fenders, we've had to do it too. So if you have to trim just a little bit of your top edge or the bottom edge of your license plates, or maybe one of the corners is too thick or not rounded the same as ours, it's not a big deal. The trim cover itself with the light in it, the bezel, is going to hide those cuts. So we're going to get this off, get this trimmed out. Very easy, guys. 4 screws off, got nuts behind it. So just reach up in there, hold the nuts, unscrew it, put the plate inside the frame, bend the plate to the frame. It's got a slight arch to it. It's curved. Put it back on, put your nuts back on, tighten it back down, and you're done. So once again, to save just a little bit of time, I'm going to cut the camera and get this installed. Now, after we reassembled everything and tightened everything down, the only thing we have left is the saddlebag bracket. Now, if you're just doing your stock 13 down bags, put your saddlebag bracket back on. This swings on here, so just leave it loose. Put the bolt in, but leave it loose where you can spin this. Open your lid, go to put your pin in. Reach in, down in between the bag and the rail, pull this up to where it needs to go, put your pin in, lock it in place, reach down in here between the frame and the bag, and retighten this bolt with a wrench. That way this keeps in the same position. Now, since we're doing the 14 and up bags, this is the bracket that we have to modify. We have to drill this hole down till it goes into the curve. Because for the 14 and up bags, this needs to go on, it needs to go up, and it needs to go slightly forward. Once you get it dremelled out and into place, you can bring it back over here and do the exact same thing, but put your 14 and up bags on there, reposition it, tighten it down the same way you did as your stock ones. Okay, now we've got the hole dremelled out. All we did was oblong it down into the corner, as you can see. We put the bolt back in. We get it just kind of hand snug where we can still move it, but it's only going to take a few turns to actually tighten it to where it needs to go. Your 09 to 13s were right around in this position here. When you put the 14 and up bags on, you're going to have to push this up into that where you just took a bunch of that meat out and a little bit more forward. So it's going to be right around in that position versus this position. We're going to do that to the other side, and then we're going to get ready to put our bags on here. Now from here, we're going to get our hardware bag out that has our new bagger knobs in it. We're going to remove the stock clips, flathead screwdriver, just pry up underneath them, and those pop right out. We're going to take our new clip. As you can see, it's extruded and threaded on one side and open hole on the other. Open hole goes to the outside. Threaded part goes to the inside. Same with this. Going to clip it on just like that. Now when we set our new bag up here, we're going to lock this rear one in. Go ahead and thread that one in. Then we're going to reach in here, roll this up, put this where this needs to be, secure the front one, and then go ahead and reach in here with a wrench and tighten that down. Going to take our 14 up saddlebag, set it down on the rail. Gonna go ahead and get that one secured. We're gonna reach in here, pull up our bracket till it lines up with the hole. Go ahead and screw that all the way down until it's tight. This front bracket is now in the place where it needs to be. So we'll take our wrench, and go ahead and tighten that down. Now that's going to be in the same place every time.
Swagger down the street with your red lips and funky beat. You better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die. Down and red.
install the Dominator fender on the 09 to 13 models. This will not fit prior 09. The bikes are shorter and a little thinner, and the fender just simply does not fit. So this fits the 09 to 21 as it stands, but with the 09 to 13, you'll have to get the proper adapter for the wiring. And also we showed you how to put the 14 and up bags on an 09 to 13. So we went ahead and detailed the rest of the bike after we got done. We did a little bit of paint correction on the remaining panels, the tank, the fairing and the fender up there, and the side covers to get everything to just kind of blend. You guys know with black bikes, you can breathe on it a little too heavy, scratching it. That's just how black goes. So this customer has pretty much a new bike. You got the 14 and up bags, a little paint correction on the rest of the bike, nice good wax on everything, Dominator fender on the back. If you guys want to get your hands on the Dominator fender or the 14 and up bags, I'll put the link down in the description down below. You can click that and it'll take you straight over to Advanblack's website, straight to the products, and you can check out and see all your options there. We do color match on these bikes. We don't just do black. We got over 80 something colors now, if I'm correct. There's a lot of colors. So go over there and see if we do your color, and then you can check out the parts from there. If you have any questions on this install, you know the deal. Comment section down below. I'll try to help you the best that I can. If you need to get a hold of me quick, jump on over to Advanblack's website, scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll see parts and installation phone number. You can call me there and I'll help you the best I can there. Now, I'm gonna get out of here and get cleaned up, and I hope to see you in the next video. But until then, as always, be safe, keep your knees in the breeze.